Senator Rand Paul was talking to CNBC anchor Kelly Evans about his recent proposal to give corporations and large corporations a chance to repatriate their money, to give them another tax holiday. Now, we've already had a tax holiday where we brought back billions of dollars from overseas. Corporations brought them back to get taxed not at 35%, but at 5%. Now they're thinking about doing another tax holiday. And when talking about Rand Paul about this and bringing up some of the criticisms to that, this happened.
Senator, I'm sure you know that most of the research on this indicates that these actually cost more money over the long term than they save.
Well,
Are
that's
you saying
incorrect.
That your plan will be different?
Let's go back again. Your premise and your question is mistaken, okay? Most of the research doesn't indicate that. In fact, there's a prominent study by Robert Shapiro looking at the holiday in 2005 when we lowered the rate to 5%, and his conclusion was that it brought $300 billion of new capital home, and then it brought in about $30 billion of new tax revenue. The whole purpose of doing this is to bring money home.
There's right, but it works that
let
first
me finish.
Year,
Hey, let me finish. Hey, Kelly. Hey,
I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry,
quiet,
go ahead.
Calm down a bit here, Kelly.
What people want, Senator, is for you to make this permanent. Why not just make it 6.5% period? The problem is that, as it happened
let me
in 2004...
answer the question. Let me answer the question before you get going.
Hey, calm down. Shh. I'm trying to spew my talking point. Hold on. Damn your facts. I don't care about your facts. I got one study from Robert Shapiro that says that we brought $300 billion of new capital home. What have they done with that capital? That's the question, and it's probably the question that Kelly Evans probably tried to get out before she was shushed. What did they do with that money? Did they invest in jobs? Remember, one of the arguments of these tax holidays is that, well, we'll let them bring back that money so that they can create jobs with it, so that they can get some tax revenue. And they did get some, but they lost out on billions of tax revenue. For that $30 billion of new tax revenue, he didn't mention that it's lost a lot of potential tax revenue from that. Yeah, the purpose was to bring it home so that then they can sit on it. And of course, you've got the, before I go on to some of the reasons why tax holidays are a ridiculous idea, I do have to mention that it was pretty rude of Rand Paul. Like, she's bringing up a point that that's a flawed point. Flawed. The flawed argument, you're not right. No, she actually is right. There actually is research that shows. It's very rude, very condescending. One of those, shut up, I'm trying to make a point, I don't want to listen to your facts. Get your facts out of my face. And what facts am I talking about? Well, there was a report back in 2011 from the Democratic staff of the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, released back in 2011, that looked at the effects of the 2004 tax holiday. Now, they say it'll create jobs. We'll bring this money back, and they can reinvest it in their business, and they can create jobs, and everything will be great. Except that when they did that in 2004, they cut jobs. The corporations, the 15 corporations that benefited the most from this tax holiday, cut 20,000 jobs. Oh, but okay, so maybe they had to cut jobs to increase R&D, to be more efficient, right? Nope. They actually decreased research spending. Oh, what about all that money that we brought? $30 billion. That cost the Treasury $3.3 billion in estimated lost revenue over 10 years. And then what about the example that it sets for corporations? Oh, well, if they keep bringing these, keep giving us these tax holidays, then we're just not going to keep our money here. We're going to throw it somewhere else. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. But before I get to that, one of the provisions in this, in the 2004 tax holiday, was that Yeah, but the legislation specified that the funds should be earmarked for activities like hiring workers or conducting research, and prohibited using the money for executive compensation. Now, the problem with that provision is that it had no teeth. It was not enforceable. They didn't do anything about it. And guess what the corporations did? They didn't hire workers. They didn't do research. And they did executive compensation and stock buybacks. They did exactly what the bill said. You probably shouldn't do that. If you're going to get the money that you stashed overseas and get it at a lower tax rate, then you should do these things and you shouldn't do these things. And they did the absolute opposite. And the 5 biggest companies that did this: Pfizer, Merck, Hewlett-Packard, Johnson & Johnson, and IBM. Now, in total, 843 companies brought back $312 billion. And the top 15 companies did their stock buybacks and executive compensation. The top 5 executives of those 15 companies saw their compensation rise 27% from 2004 to 2005, and another 30% between 2005 and 2006. And with the exception of Pfizer, the top companies that repatriated the most money after 2004 have stashed more money offshore. More money. Now, if I were to say this to Rand Paul, he'd be like, shh, I don't want you talking about truth. I don't want you and your pesky facts. Robert Shapiro, he said that, we had so much capital and everything that we're just sitting on. Corporations are sitting on $2 trillion worth of cash. They're not doing anything with it because why? What can they spend it on? They can't create jobs that they don't need. They're doing just fine. Demand is down. We don't have a strong economy. And so why would they create jobs that they don't need to create to keep up with the demand? No, they're going to bank the money. They're going to reinvest it in their stocks. That's why Wall Street is huge. It's blowing up. Wall Street is blown up and everybody else is depressed. Literally. Wages depressed. Job creation not great. Yeah, we have a quote-unquote 5% unemployment rating, but really? They don't count people who stop looking for work, who can't find work. And a lot of the work is part-time. But no, they want another holiday. And if anybody brings up the previous holiday didn't work, they're going to get shushed by Rand Paul. If anybody's more of a corporate stooge, it's Rand Paul. His libertarian freedom is about the freedom for corporations to make tons of money, stash it somewhere else, and then bring it back under very, very low tax rates and then give it back to themselves and sit on it. That's his freedom. Freedom.